Okay, great. So this the topic today is drawing labels, but actually a lot of what we're going to talk about with respect to drawing labels is also applicable to other similar objects. So it's not quite as terribly specific as it might seem. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share here in just a second and start sharing from a different window when that launches. I wonder what's taking so long. There we go. Almost got it going there. Goodness. Y'all are a patient lot. Okie dokie. So let me share my screen. There we go. Okay, so this is Vectorworks 2020, the previous version, and I'm just gonna pop in a drawing label here, just so we can remember what that used to look like, or for those of you who are still working with a slightly older version. All right, so here's a here's a drawing label in Vectorworks 2020, and you'll notice that I can control a lot of its parameters from the object info palette. That. Right. So for example, I can give it a drawing name. Typos and all.
Well, I'm not seeing the other. I may just be old and blind, but.
What do you see?
Oh, I see it. I see it now. Never mind. I'm old and blind. Okay, thank you.
No. So I can give it a drawing number, right? And I can give it a sheet number, for example. And for the number style, I can do drawing and sheet. I can do drawing only. I can, for scale label, I have these few options: numbers only, and so on. I mean, I can go down the line, and then we can change the text size. We can change the size of the scale. We can even do like a little bit of an offset if the scale is too close to the line. We can play with line weight, and we could even create or assign a particular font to it. But so, there's a fair amount of customization here, but at the end of the day, really not a whole lot. So for example, if I go to the menu here, I've got a pull down with some font sizes. So I can make this 30, or I could make it 24, but I can't make it 28, right? And if I choose Helvetica bold italic for the drawing label, all the text in that drawing level in that drawing label is Helvetica bold italic. So there's some customization, but it's quite limited. So let me stop sharing and let me start sharing with 2021. So it looks very similar. But I'm in 2021 right now. You can see it says 21. And so now I'm going to go ahead and pull in a drawing label and drop that in. Again, looks very similar at first. Let's look at it in the object info palette here. So right, so there we go. Drawing number, I could do 3. Scale display, architectural engineering, custom, right? If anything, it almost looks like there are fewer options here, but that is actually quite deceptive because you can see that under style here, it says drawing label dash drawing number. So this is one of the standard drawing label styles that ship with Vectorworks out of the box. I could replace it with a new style. I'm going to convert to unstyled. And so now it's no longer a styled label. And I'm going to edit the drawing label layout. So when I do that, let me back up here a little bit and zoom out. You can see that I'm inside. It looks kind of like a symbol. And there's a circle and some text blocks, right? So this starts to look like a symbol that you might create with an attached record format. And you would use link text to record in order to link the text that you have to the record format and have it display and so on and so forth. In some ways, that's kind of what this is. Notice that when I click on the scale text here, that I get these, I don't know if you guys can see these, but I've got these like little green constraint buttons, right? And so this is constraining the text right out of the box to the insertion point, which happens to be the left edge of that circle. So now maybe I want this to be Calibri, and maybe I want that to be 8 points, and I'll kind of nudge it down a little bit. For those of you who know me, yes, I'm using a nudge command. Don't freak out, it's okay. And then maybe I'll make this Helvetica and bold and italic. Or I might even assign a text style to it. So I can have a text style assigned to a particular drawing title. So let's go ahead and go to my resource manager, and I'll go to my text styles. And let's go ahead and create a new text style. Cancel, there we go. So new text style, there we go. And we'll call this drawing name. Sure, why not? We'll make it 18 point, bold, italic, Helvetica, no Arial for me. Left, right, top, great, boom. And so having done that text style, I can go ahead and assign that to this, right? And continue to nudge it up, or maybe I go to my text style, edit that, and instead of top, make it bottom. And snap it to the line. And maybe I want my bubble to be a 0.53 and my line as well. but I want the bubble to have a 70% opacity, but I want the fill to be 100%. And then the line can be 70%, for example. And then here I can make that, sorry, getting a little trigger happy, make that 70%. And let's go ahead and make this my drawing name, but I will change that to center and, oh, let's go with 30. Okay, and I will center it as well. And center it over here. All right, well, let's exit this and see what happens. So there's our typical drawing label. I can see that with descenders like Y's and P's, that's a little too close to the line, so I'll just nudge it up. Okay, fine. So there we go. So now I've got a fair bit of customization, and I can go even a little bit further. So first, what I'm going to do is, now that I've got my drawing label pretty close to what I like, I'm going to go ahead and create a style out of it. So new plugin style from unstyled plugin. This is like the same thing I would do for, you know, a door style or a window style. It's starting to be kind of familiar sort of pattern. And I'll go ahead and put it at the top level and hit OK. And I'll call it my cool style. And so now you can see that edit drawing label layout that we were using before is grayed out because it's a style. So if I want to continue to tinker with the layout, I'll need to edit the style, which I can do right here, or I could do that from the resource. If I go to the top level of my symbols and the resource manager, there's my cool style, and I can get there. All right, it's just a red letter symbol. So I'll go ahead and edit that style, and then I can click the drawing label layout. So now I'm back in, so it's an extra step back where I was before. So maybe I don't want scale to have a capital S. As you may have noticed, I've got this sort of lowercase fetish, or maybe I want it to be all caps, right? So down here at the bottom, when I click on one of these text blocks, down here at the bottom, I can define the drawing label field. And I can use dynamic text. So these two things are important, little details. So I'm using dynamic text, and I'm going to define the drawing label field.
What does dynamic text mean?
You're about to find out.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could see that this, so if any of you are familiar with record formats, this looks kind of like a record format, except it's a record format that is completely locked down. You can't edit the number of fields, you can't add fields, you can't delete fields. It's a kind of a, like a heavily, you know, the rails are up around to prevent you from, you know, hurting yourself. So here are all the parameters that you can have. You can have a back reference sheet number. So if you want a back reference to this, you've got a detail and you want to back reference what sheet refers to this detail, you could do that. You can do a custom scale. You know, these are all of your options. No more, no less. So here I'll go ahead and display the scale. Okay, so that's the one that I've got. All right, and you can see that there's a little bit of code between these hashtags, drawing label 2 and scale, but I will change this to all uppercase. And maybe you know, I like to have a little space between the colon and the word scale, and I like to have another space. And there we go. Doesn't seem like anything's changed, but now when I exit the group, you can see that now scale is all uppercase, right? and I've got a little space here. Maybe I want to add some additional text. So go back and edit the style and edit the layout. Maybe I want to add some text after this. So I'll go ahead and add a space and at full-sized sheet or full-size sheet, depending. Hit OK. And then I'll just go ahead and hold down the Option key and drag this down. So I'm creating a duplicate. Only this one, I will not have dynamic text. I will unselect that. Right. And then I can just type right in, you know, half scale at half size sheet.
And Francois, that's in service to the fact that when we issue drawings and such, that sometimes they're half size, sometimes they're, you know, 100% PDF that got printed out at 86 or whatever.
Exactly.
Is there, and I may be jumping the gun here, so forgive me, but is there a way to do the graphic scales in the scale there?
That's a great question, and
I think I saw that.
let's play with that in a minute.
Okay, all right. Because
so now I'm gonna so now I'm gonna edit that, right? And so now it tells me half scale at half size sheet. I'll edit it again because I'm not consistent in my language. Okay. And
Style, is it changing it globally with every instance you may have already put into the drawing of that?
Yeah, sure,
That's
absolutely. Absolutely. So for example, if I go and edit the style and edit the layout, and I make this, say, I decide that this text is going to be at 50% because I don't want to draw attention to myself, right? Then it's 50% opaque in every instance of that.
So it's still dynamic and not dynamic text, what that means.
What's that?
I still don't know what dynamic text means versus not dynamic text.
Oh, well, I'll show you. So right now we're at a 1/4 inch scale layer. Let's go to an 1/8 inch scale layer. Or let's just change the layer scale to an 1/8 inch. This is now displaying at 1/8 inch scale. So that text is responsive to the little bit of code that's between the hashtags.
Got it.
Whereas this text is just dumb text. It doesn't change.
Understand.
It is static, not dynamic, right? So, so now if I go back and edit the layout again, right? Let's go ahead and I may decide that I don't want a circle. I want a rectangle. Get rid of this circle. And I'll go ahead and pop the rectangle over here. And maybe I'll make that, let's see, we'll make it 3/8 wide and 5/8 tall, whatever. Send that to back. Maybe I'll give that a black fill, and I will change the opacity, make that fill 30%, and then I'll take the text here and give that a white fill and put it in the center. All right, like that. So I can, you know, really kind of have this look however I want it to look to a certain degree. Let's go ahead and try the scale bar. We'll see what happens. This will be fun. maybe it'll crash. So let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm looking right at it. So there's a scale bar. Make that, I like them at about 1/4. Personally, I like a checker. Make the minor length 12 and the major length 24.
Jeez.
Well, that's, you know, ginormous.
Minor
But,
length,
you know,
minor length 1 foot 0 inches.
what's that?
You want minor length to be 1 foot 0 inches?
Yeah, 1 foot.
Okay. Right, that's why it's so big.
So, yeah, so the scale is, you know, it is scaling properly. I'm going to go ahead and convert this to an unstyle just so I can give myself a bit of a shortcut. So I would probably, one thing that I would recommend that I'm not doing is that when I'm creating these from scratch or editing them, it might be helpful to, instead of doing that on a layer scale, to go ahead and do that at 1-to-1 scale.
That makes sense, yeah.
Of course, now that scale bar is really huge. So edit drawing layout. So it's kind of a bit of a mixed bag here. And I can go ahead and make that 8 point. So yeah, it might be a bit of a trial and error to get, because the scale bar is responsive to the scale that it's in. So it might be challenging to get that to be in exactly the right position.
But once you set it, you can set it and forget it.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that is the idea. Yeah, I don't like how it's positioning itself there. That's not making me perfectly happy, to be honest. Maybe if I find some happy compromise between the two. Yeah, so could be 1/2-inch scale is might be easier to deal with. No, not really. So I don't really like the scale bar in here, honestly. The other thing is I often find that sometimes you need the scale bar to be in a different location than the drawing, and so if you build it into, so I don't think this is working out so happy. But that's it. So, you know, one thing I would really love, for example, is to be able to say, you know, scale 1/2 inch equals a foot at full size sheet, scale 1/4 inch equals a foot at half size sheet, like basically have some sort of formula in there that it would detect the scale of the layer that it was in or the viewport and automatically adjust it by half. But it's currently not possible to do that. There's no way to do sort of arithmetical operations when you look at if you look at this and look at its dynamic field, like in all of this, there's no way to do an arithmetical operation that I could do half scale. So again, the fields that you have here are limited to, what you get out of the box, but you can, you can format them however you want. You can even add some additional text before or after or whatever. Anything that is outside these little hashtags with the dot between them, which is kind of a vector script or Python sort of syntax, that's all, that's the dynamic part. And then the rest is static. And then, of course, once you have it, then there it is. It's in your resource manager, and you can use it again and again on different projects, or put it into your template, or whatnot. But that's significantly more control. You can mix fonts. You can do bubbles that are not sort of the standard convention. You have all sorts of options that you didn't have before. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Is one of the pull down menu options was scale factor. I didn't know. I was wondering if the scale couldn't relate back to the layer scale that you selected on the drawing setup.
Sure, but I like to experiment. So I just duplicated that text block, and I'll just go to the define label field, and I'll do scale factor. And we'll just get rid of all this extraneous text, and we'll see what it says. Scale factor looks to me like scale. Maybe there's some nuance that maybe I.
But it did put in ½ an inch. You didn't type that in, did you?
Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'll just do.
Because I was just thinking maybe it looked to your. I
don't
know.
There's your scale factor. So there we go. Yeah, scale factor is 1.
Is that what this drawing is set out now, 1 to 1?
No, it's just that this is the scale. This is just a field called scale factor.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right. You see where I'm just.
Yeah, I got it. So you're feeling that it doesn't relate back to the setup of the drawing.
No. Yeah. So this isn't helping my cause.
So Francois, I'm really sorry to be late, but you're exactly on something I wanted to ask you a question about. And I think you just passed it as I was entering. And the question is, how can I add a field to something like this? And I think you were just talking about that as I got on.
Yeah, you can't.
You cannot add a field. Okay.
Yeah, so if you go to edit drawing layout here and you look at the choose, I'll go, this is scale, and I'll define the drawing label field, right? These are all of the field possibilities that Vectorworks gives you out of the box.
Yes, I see.
And there's no way to add a field to this.
Okay.
And and these the text that's between the hashtags.
Yes.
That obviously is referring back to some hidden record format.
There you go.
The record format is hidden. It doesn't show up in your resource manager.
Okay.
And there's, unlike a worksheet, for example, where if you had a worksheet, whether it's a database or whatever, you were to, you could add some arithmetical operations.
Yes.
Right? Multiply, divide, whatever. There's no way to do that within this. So it's kind of a constrained record format.
Well, it's perfectly fine, and probably it's better to not have something that is so complicated. One of the things I really like about these things is it really is something that I can understand, and I get challenged when it gets too complicated, actually. So this has been good for me. That was just one question. I'm going to go on
Ye-
mute now because I don't want to dominate the session.
No, well, we're pretty much done actually.
Oh, really?
The
Okay.
yeah, the thing that I was kind of tinkering with this week and trying to achieve is to have the scale display some multiplier or divisor of the actual scale. So that, for instance, instead of half scale at half size sheet, which you would think is fairly self-evident, but not necessarily to every plan reviewer apparently, you know, have it say scale 1/4 inch equals a foot at half size sheet or at 11 by 17. But there's no way for it. It just detect with the scale record format or field, if you will. It just detects the layer scale or the viewport scale, and that's what it displays. And there's no way to mess with that. You could, of course, manually type in a 1/4 inch and a half inch, but then you'd have a separate one for every scale layer. And at that point, why not just have a symbol for each layer scale and be done with it? So
There's a place for a dynamic interaction. It just seems so obvious that it knows the scale from you select a sheet size, you select a scale at your layer, and it knows all those things. It would seem really easy for it just to fill that out automatically. Not that it does, but it seems like it could.
well, it does. It just didn't occur to the software designers that you might want to display something at a different scale than what it really was. Like,
Right. That's what I'm talking
which is
about.
understandable if you've never, you know, if it doesn't occur to you that you might want to print something at 50% but still have the scale display correctly.
Yeah.
Like most of us, if we see a 50% set and we can look at a drawing and it's like, yeah, I know it says a 1/4 inch. It's obviously not. It's obviously at 1/8 inch, but
I'm trying to put this down in writing. Hello, everybody, first of all. I'm trying to get this in writing in a place where both I and a software engineer will be able to understand what I'm trying to say.
Oh, it's cool, Matthew. I'm going to submit an enhancement request, but so yeah, because you don't submit with the city. So, and this is certainly not unique to the city of Austin, but so when we submit drawings for residential plan review, we are also asked to submit a set at 11 by 17. And if our drawing is labeled, if our floor plan is labeled at a 1/4 inch scale, but they put a scale on it and it's not really at a 1/4 inch scale, then that is going to get kicked back and they won't give you a permit. They will ask you to correct that. So it's fairly obvious to us that if you have a 1/4 inch scale drawing and you print it at 50%, and say you format your large scale to be 22 by 34 instead of 24 by 36 inches, and you print it at 50%, it's fairly obvious to us that that's going to be at 1/8 inch scale. But they're very literal that the drawing scale has to be accurate. So so that's why there's this desire to create this sort of alternative scale for when you print at 50%. But the drawing label doesn't allow you to do that kind of arithmetic, divide the layer scale by 2 for display purposes.
Makes perfect sense for something that, you know, could or
When you
should.
add that line of half scale at half size sheet, is that sufficient for the city, or do you have to go back and?
I've seen other people get away with similar language. We usually get really explicit. We just have like a little symbol that's like a text block that just is perfectly registered. So, but moving forward with the new drawing label, we'll probably end up just doing something like this and see if it flies.
Francois, this gray text at the bottom that says half scale at 11 by 17.
Yes.
What is that? What is that record? What is that field?
It's not. It's not. So I just added a text block, but it doesn't say use dynamic text.
I see. So you can't get that you can't get that plugged into any kind of a record. And there's not a out of the box version of this drawing label that has an additional text field like that, right? There's not one.
Not that I'm
Not that
aware
you've
of.
found. Yeah, that's fine.
That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but just
right. Because Matthew's on the call, I'll just say that what we tend to do is say, where it says the word title, we would say interior elevation. And then right above that in a smaller text, we would put the room name or the room name and number. And so if we could have this label include a field that we could fill out above the word title, that would be helpful for us. We may be like that right there. So we do that
but you'd want that to be dynamic, and you'd want
correct.
it to be
instead
of
right.
scale. You would want it to be. You want to be able to.
It might just be note.
The closest thing, right? You'd like some user-defined thing, or I mean, this might be helpful because but it would point to a sheet number.
Yeah.
It wouldn't point to a room name.
Yeah, and we can get really, really, ultimately, if we have a room label, then we could point to a room, and then the room it would pick up the language in the room label. But for now, and probably for the balance of our career, if we just had a field that we could manually fill in, that would be very helpful.
Yeah. I think the takeaway here, and the enhancement request that I would probably put in is to just have this be an explicit record format that users could edit and add fields to.
Yeah. And in the short term, what I've found with these drawing labels and the section markers and so forth is this is really handy stuff. And it may be that you're going to tell me, Matthew and Francois will tell me, yeah, it's been there for 3 or 4 versions. It's new to me.
No, the styles are new to 2021.
Well, this is really a fine thing because having a style for this drawing label, really and truly, we found ourselves creating it frequently, drawing by drawing by drawing, and it's really nice to be able to have this as a style. Same thing with section markers. Have you talked about section markers yet?
No.
Okay.
They're just like drawing labels. I mean, it's pretty much the same idea.
Well, actually, it's a little different in that with section markers, you rotate them and you flip them left and right, you turn them upside down. And I've been having troubles getting the text to behave itself with respect to the section marker. And again, I don't mean to overtake the meeting, but if you had some time to talk about that, I could show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you share your screen?
Hang on. Man, you guys are putting me on the spot.
Well,
but, I don't have the thing in front of me, but let me see if I can find it real quick. I think I can.
Until then, Gail has a question.
Why you guys go ahead and I'll come back. I'm going to go on.
Gail, is that are you being facetious or are you asking me for real? You can unmute yourself. Gail. Oh, maybe she left. Oh, she's having a Zoom problem today. Oh, there you are.
Muted. I show her as muted.
All right. Well, I'm going to assume that you mean that. I don't use Arial because it's a blasphemous font.
Why do you say that?
Because it is a cheap knockoff of Helvetica, and I did a little bit of graphic design before I started working in architecture, and I'm a little picky about my fonts. Anyway, yeah, Arial is a kind of a knockoff of Helvetica, and you know,
We have
I don't
found
like it.
ourselves with projects where they the graphic standards insisted on Helvetica. Don't see that
And-
so
and-
much anymore, but
Yeah, and their projects with graphic standards insist on Arial too, and you know that's all fine and good. But you know, I don't have to use anybody else's graphic standards, so.
I found what I was looking
I can
for.
usually tell the difference between Helvetica and Arial, and I'm just not a fan of Arial. It's like, you know, it's almost there, but not quite. Anywho, Al, have you found a section
I
marker you
have.
want?
Would you like me to
Okay.
share my screen?
So long as it's appropriate, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what we have here. Okay, here we go.
This is being recorded for posterity, so.
I understand that. I'm fully dressed. I'm appropriate. Everything's
Okay,
good. Can everybody see
Yes.
my screen?
Yep.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on this sheet. And this is a project we're doing that has landscape implications. So what you're seeing are decks that are out on the landscape. And what we're really interested in here is this, which is a section marker that I made by editing one of the out-of-the-box markers. And when I rotate it, and you can see that the text is actually justified.
You need to zoom into that, Al. Command 6.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem. Here we go. Can everybody see that now?
No, zoom into, just do a Command 6. You're good.
Well,
No, really, Command 6. There we go.
Okay, you can see it now, right? Okay. And so what you can see, so what I'm going to do is see if I can edit this. How do I edit this thing in particular? I don't know exactly how to edit it.
In your object info palette, there is,
Yeah.
it says,
Edit marker layout. That's what I wanted. There you go. Okay. So what I have here is I don't know why it is doing this gray thing, but it is. But it is justified to the left of this marker. The text, which is the gray, is justified to the left of this marker, right? So I'm going to get out of this, and you can see that the text is justified to the left of that marker, right? It's left justified. Now, let me go to this other instance where I have flipped it. And you can see that it is still justified to the left of that marker, but that's not at all what I want. I want this text to be over here and sitting on top of that thick line.
mm-hmm.
And so the question is, by fiddling with the knobs on this thing and the buttons for what it should do, is there a way to get it to do that? Or do I need to make a second version of this and call it one of them left and one of them right?
you just have it registered to the wrong, you just have it constrained to the wrong object. So
Great.
Go ahead and edit that.
I get in annotations, okay. Select it and then go here and
Yeah, edit the layout from the object info palette.
I don't see the word layout there right now.
So
Why am I not seeing the word layout?
Because, calm down. So in object info palette, it says style.
Yeah.
So
you want me to edit the style?
Go to the pull down. Yeah, you have to, because it's a style.
Yeah. Okay.
marker,
Edit
so-
style. That's good. Thank you.
Yep.
That's good. And there we go.
then-
Thank you.
There you go.
And everybody can tell that I'm still getting used to where everything is, but at any rate,
Yeah.
thank you. So
Sure.
now I have this text.
The box is too big.
Well, I can change that and it doesn't really help. And what it does is it means when I fill it out,
Yeah, no,
the,
just unwrap the text that you don't want. No,
yeah,
from the object info palette, it says wrap text. Deselect that
okay. Hang on.
towards the top, third.
There you go. Okay, good. Don't wrap text. That's good. And then
Yep.
what am I justified to that I shouldn't be? And I was on tech support the other day and Rob, who by the way is great, we were both focusing on this area right here, marker layout constraints. And he got something that worked pretty good, but it didn't solve it entirely. And I thought I'd bring it to this forum to discuss. So isn't it one of these 3 buttons down here or 4 buttons?
Yeah, it's just really hard to read your screen because it's so small.
That's okay.
For me anyway.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's not going to change your object info
the
palette.
object info palette won't change. I'm sorry, God. All right. I
Yep,
tried.
so-
I really did.
Yeah, so go to your go to your DIMS, your dimensions and notes palette, and see
Sure.
if you can do a constraint coincident.
There's my palette, which is here.
Mhm.
What are you asking me to look at?
So do you see? Let's see. Yours are out of order.
Section elevation line.
So at the very bottom, there's a disclosure widget. The very bottom.
The arrow.
The very
This?
bottom. There you go.
That?
Yes. So
Okay.
sort those by name, please.
Alphabetical?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
And then there should be one there where it says constrain coincident, and it's got a little right triangle there under the
Yes,
center
okay.
line.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So click on that and hold.
Oh, and, all right.
There you go. And so you could do a constrain you can try to do a constrain vertical distance.
Hang on just a
It's
second.
the last one.
Okay,
And then do like you were dimensioning and make as if you were dimensioning that title block to that black rectangle or that text block to that to that thing.
I don't understand this. Get a constrained linear dimension line and do that?
No,
Okay,
you've activated the constrain vertical distance tool. So
yes,
pretend you're dimensioning and
yes,
dimension the upper left corner of that text block, which is
Yes.
now at the bottom left. No, that's top
bottom
right.
left, right here. Yep,
Yep. To the corner of the, I would go to the right-hand corner of that rectangle so as to not create confusion.
okay.
Yeah, see if that'll work.
2 objects are on different planes is what it's saying to me.
All
Let's
right.
see if I can get them both. I don't have an option to put them on a plane. But let me try it again. This is a tool, by the way, I've never known anything about. Did I just do what you're asking me to do?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It says a parametric constraint cannot be placed on 2 objects that are on different planes.
okay.
So-
Hit okay. Why don't you drag that text, click on the text block and just drag it a little bit off someplace. Just drag it
Okay.
away.
Okay,
Okay. I meant up. Sorry.
oh, I can drag it anywhere you want. You mean
Yeah,
up like
drag
that?
it up and to the left. Perfect. Now try to constrain those two like I just
And-
showed you.
Okay, and do I need to have one of these things? I'm not going to select anything.
No, you're dimensioning there. I don't want you to dimension. I want you to constrain. I don't want to dimension.
Oh, pardon me. Yep. Okay. Hit the wrong button. And I apologize to everybody on this call who's bored to tears watching this. Okay.
Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay. Well, that
Okay.
was my thought.
By the
Okay.
way, what we saw with Al's where the text grays out, it becomes a gray text block is, I think, a bug that I've also noticed in the last week.
So maybe I do need to make another instance of this. And by the way, the other thing I couldn't figure out is how can I duplicate this? Is it possible to duplicate these section markers?
Yeah, just option drag it.
No, I don't mean an instance, a style.
Oh, go to your
Create-
resource manager.
Yeah.
Al, there's something we're not getting, and
Yeah.
there really shouldn't be. If you want to just copy that, paste it in a blank file, and email it to me, I'll play with
Okay,
it.
that's fine.
Go to your resource manager.
Yeah, okay.
And just isolate, instead of all resources, why don't you just isolate symbols? There you go. And drawing label styles, looks like there's.
And by the way, it has two different ones. One is drawing label styles, and then the other one is a section style. So
Yeah, that's what we want.
so let me go to
Just go up
all.
to the top layer, top level. No.
God.
It's always you're always
I'm sorry.
5 times slower when 20 people are watching than when you're just drafting away by yourself.
and-
It's not you. It's just kind of that's how it goes.
And I don't even see the
Just
I
click
don't
on the
even
top.
see.
Just click on the file there, the file name, right where your cursor is. Just click on it.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
you go.
so I've got drawing labels, but I don't have section
So
label styles. So I don't know where it is, even though it is a style. It's sitting right here. Says the word style right there that I created. So I
Yeah,
don't know where
go
it
back
is.
to your resource manager and do a search for section.
Section.
Yeah, hit return. There you go.
Okay.
You might need to scroll around.
No, I see. Just hang on a second.
Yeah, scroll. Oh, there it is. It's right there. It's in the, no, up, go up. It's in the 3rd row from the top, all the way to the right. And one more to the left.
Right there. Yeah.
There it is.
Got
Yeah, so you can just duplicate that, right click on it and duplicate it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, let me, go ahead and stop sharing your screen and.
Yeah.
see if I
So
can-
is that something you're going to do that, right? Or do I need to do that?
No,
Stop
you need
sharing.
to do that.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's back
there
to you.
go. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for indulging me on that.
No, let's give it a try. Oh, we have lots of time. Let's
Okay.
give it a try. What is it? Is this a detail?
Just section, no, it's a section elevation line, I believe.
All right, great.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Terrific.
And then,
okay.
there you go. And
Mhm.
then edit the layout is really what I was doing.
Okay, cool, sure. This is a style, so let's just convert it to unstyled, and then I'll edit the layout.
There you go.
Okay. So you want the number here, and you want the sheet number, right? Move those off.
Yes,
to the side.
and I actually found that it doesn't have as much flexibility in the terms of where the number of the drawing and the sheet number, where to place both of those. I actually wanted the drawing number with a slash and then the sheet number after the drawing number, and I wasn't successful in being able to do that either. So, but at any rate, you're doing what I did.
Right.
You're designing this thing. Just like
so
that.
you want it like I don't know what point.
0.1, and then that's 0.5. Just make it 0.35. No, 0.1 for the width. This is yeah, that's fine for our purposes. Perfect.
All right, cool.
And then I had like a witness.
I'm gonna use Arial.
Oh my God, don't do that. And then I had a witness line too. So if you want to do that, you can.
Yeah. All right, so you want your sheet number is here,
Something like that.
and your drawing number is here.
Yeah. The drawing number goes in front of the sheet number actually, but
Okay,
all
I can handle that.
right.
I can roll with that.
How is it that your object info palette is really nice and big and we can all see it, and mine was not? We weren't able to.
Because I'm drafting on a 13-inch Retina display, and you're
Oh, I
drafting on a
see.
27-inch Retina display, and so
Got it.
because you're just
It's scale factor
so,
again.
so much nicer. Okay, sorry, there was one other thing. Oh, you wanted a colon or something?
Well, I wanted actually a slash between the
Between the
drawing
two.
number and the sheet number.
Great. I'm just going to option drag this. So now I've option dragged it. And then I'll just not do dynamic text. And I'll make a slash.
Okay.
Yeah. Or what I could do is under define marker field, I could just add a slash after this. Boom. And if I really wanted to get fancy, I could do, what is this? I'll do another one. And is it sheet number?
Yeah.
Boom, I'll add sheet number and add. So you see, I'm just adding a little bit of script, sheet line, drawing number slash section line, sheet number. Okay, cool. I think I don't need these. Let's see what happens. There we go. So that's 1A1.
That's certainly heading in the right direction.
So let me go back to edit the marker layout. I think part of the problem is that maybe the problem is that we created it this way.
On the crisscross.
Yeah, nope. Interesting. Oh, there we go.
While you're doing that, I will also say that this idea of being able to link these things to a source viewport is huge, or a destination viewport is huge.
Yeah.
I think. Also, the viewport names, it seems like they name themselves, and I don't necessarily have to name each one. There's already a way to find a particular viewport, even if I haven't gone through the trouble of giving it a unique name. That's also huge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, Al, you may be right. Just it doesn't seem like where I position it really matters much.
And I'll say that I want to just say it's great that Vectorworks jumped into this space and gave us these tools that are starting to be interactive, even if they're not necessarily linking to the model, but they're linking to viewports. So for those of us who do drawing sets, just kind of linking up the drawing set itself is really nice. And if I'm understanding the tutorials correctly, once you print out a PDF, there would be a way to navigate within the PDF from one viewport to another because of this intelligence that Vectorworks has put into these tools. Is that?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds pretty on if you ask me.
Say again, please.
That definitely sounds like you have a grasp of it.
Yeah, and it's just that this, generally speaking, if I find myself doing something that I take to Francois and he's kind of not finding a solution real quick, that means that I would never in 2 or 3 lifetimes find the solution. So this is great, but probably needs on software development side, another rev or two to make it a little more user-friendly for dummies like me.
Well, and that's why it's important to file like enhancement requests and things like that, because that's how
It matters.
that's how they know.
I appreciate that. What happens to me is like this, I don't even know how to put this in words. So I hardly know wouldn't know what to ask quite. Hey, Becky, good to see you.
Yeah, so
Hi.
Hey.
I wonder if there's yeah, there's not like an auto rotate, so that's interesting. So I've got
Well,
the
it says down at the bottom, rotate with marker. And, you know, if you go to edit marker layout again, please, and go to your OI palette at the bottom, you see where it says marker layout constraints, rotate with marker. Doesn't it seem like that would do it somehow? But it's a little tricky.
yeah, it's happy horizontal, but that's
I had a little bit better luck than this on mine, but it's just that if I flip it, you know, mirror and duplicate, then it doesn't behave itself.
Yeah. Maybe this maybe the fact that I've constrained it is the problem. So let me remove.
Oh, maybe, yeah. There you go. Try that. There you go.
Yeah. Nah, not really.
Right.
Nope. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's go to the dimensions and notes and go to the section elevation or elevation. Is it section elevation?
I think
that's
so.
it.
Yeah.
And then let's just go to the style here and see in Vectorworks libraries. So it's giving us this one that's kind of closer to what you're.
So see what happens on that one. Why don't you pull that into your file, make an instance of it and rotate it around, see what behavior you get with the text. There you go. So Command L, yeah, see that behaves perfectly.
Yeah, except it's centered. So we'll do a partial section.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. And then let's go ahead and edit the layout.
Right.
So we'll convert to unstyled, and then we'll edit the layout. So there you go. So you want that to be left, and say top. So it's giving you this as a drawing number and a sheet number on a separate line. So we'll put it all in one line. I don't know, Al.
That's it.
How's that-
That's
how's
exactly
that
what
working
I
for
was
you?
wanting it to be.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, buy me a banh mi sandwich and then I'll email it to you. I'm kidding. I'll send it to you. You want that to be 0.1 by
0.35 is fine. 0.5 is
0.35?
fine. Yeah, something. I don't know what it is. I don't remember. I have it right here. I can just. It is, no, it's 0.063 by 0.5. There you go. Yeah,
That looks more like it.
yeah. Mhm.
All right, there you go.
Perfect, thank you.
I think the valuable lesson there is when you want to customize yours, don't try to build them from scratch. Find the closest version in the Vectorworks libraries and then build off of that.
Yeah, and I thought I had done that, but I think you found one that was closer. And so that was good. And so you find it and then you convert an instance to unstyled. Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then edit unstyled. Then when it's all happy and perfect, and
then you rename it as part of your
then over
Office
here
family.
you just go ahead and under instead of unstyled, you create a new plugin style from styled plugin.
And give it a name to join your family of
Exactly, like
Yeah.
LGA
something or other.
detail marker,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Mhm. Cool.
There we go. All right. Well, I can't believe that we stumbled on the solution.
Solving the world's problems one detail at a time.
Exactly.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
All right. So you were right, Al. There are some nuances between the different sort of versions of these sort of styled graphic symbol tools, but hopefully this is helpful.
It's very helpful, but again, I always hate to bring these kinds of things to tech support or guys like you for fear that it seems like I would be complaining about it, which I'm not. I really appreciate the work that's gone into this, and I struggle because I'm challenged by anything that's not perfectly obvious, but I know that when one or two revs, this thing is going to be, like I said, even easy to use for somebody like me.
Well, you should always ask questions because, like, I didn't know how this worked, and that's and also, keep in mind that, I mean, back in the day, you know, I don't think there were any architects working at Vectorworks, and now I can't count how many people who work there who are either licensed architects or certainly, you know, have architect experience working in architecture and architectural backgrounds. But even so, you know, not all of us has seen everything, and so I think it's worthwhile your you know, you're bringing up wish list, you know, new features that you'd like to see. Though a lot of these kinds of tools, right, these are the people with architectural experience who are working inside Vectorworks, who are coming up with these new tools. They may not be the software engineers who are implementing them, but they're, you know, it's clear that these kinds of tools are they're coming from people with an architecture background, not, you know,
And
they're not being dreamed up by.
Yeah, I get that. And I appreciate it very much. And, you know, despite my not having gotten it perfect, I'm there to embrace this stuff because this will really help me out. And this is just, a lot of it is dumb old 2D drafting, but making it intelligent, linking things together. And that's really helpful to me.
Yeah, and I think you just pointed to something a few minutes ago that we're using a lot for keying in details, which is actually linking the viewport here in this pull down menu. That's super helpful.
Yes, and my
especially
point,
as you start to, you know, evolve your CD set, and then you may decide, oh, I need a new detail, and so now I've got to change the layout of all my details on my detail sheets, and so long as you know, keep up with the numbering, then it automatically coordinates that with all of the detail callouts, which is like, that's just huge.
well, it's also true that in the past, viewports, at least I didn't go to linking to viewports or do anything with named viewports. And you had always said it was important to name them. And then I did a project one time where I named all the viewports, and then I just didn't do anything with it. So there was a lot of work to name them. And you know, what was the point? But now with this thing where it says linked viewport, being able to go through a list and find the name and link to that is really a powerful tool. But what I found was that Vectorworks automatically names it based on the
drawing
label. And therefore, you know, you don't have to physically open each one up and say, oh, that was viewport 11, let's call that such and such. It dynamically names it also. And that is the other part of this that's really helpful, because, you know, I'm adding these little ticks to a project that's in progress, and I probably have 80 to 100 viewports already. And, you know, if I had to just go, you know, manually name them all, it wouldn't be worth the time or the convenience. So again,
the linking feature is awesome. Yeah.
Hats off to Vectorworks. So
well, any other questions or comments or?
I have a question, but it's not about labels. It's about, I've had this problem before and I've fixed it, but I don't know how. And haven't called tech support, but I've gone online and nothing works. Everything's set up properly. I draw a dimension, and the minute I finish drawing, it disappears.
Your dimension class is off. It's
on. Everything's set up, ready to go. Dimension class is on. All classes are showing. I'm even modifying all classes if I have to.
Well, here, why don't you share your? Can you demonstrate that?
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, wait. Here we go. Screen. Here. May not be easier. Location.
While you're looking for that, Bill, Becky, it looks like you're in a Scandinavian cabin, like
Yeah, it's not
deep above the
that.
Arctic Circle.
I'm at the beach though, and
Oh, well, there you go.
yeah, so it's instead of gypboard, it's more appropriate.
All right.
All right, so Command End. Let's see here. So my dimension class, this is a sketch drawing, so it's all over the place.
Sure, sure.
Dimension class
No,
is
no judging.
On. It's showing is visible. And so here's a dimension from a previous, I duplicated this dimension and moved it. That worked, but that's from a long time ago. So let's say I'll just take any point, I'll go there. Any point, I'll go here and click. And it disappears. I mean, I don't know where it goes. It never seems to come up in anything when I try looking at other layers and it just disappears. And I looked at my dimension.
Are you in a, it looks like you're on a design layer?
I've tried it I'm in design layer. It used to work in a design layer and then it works in the annotation. Let's see if it works in the annotations layer. I tried that before.
No, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm just trying to see where you are. Okay. Can we go to your view menu?
View menu. This one? I'm in the work. Oh,
no.
wait. We'll try that. Maybe that's the problem. Oops. Now that's going to take me out.
Okay. Over on your navigations,
Just so
your navigation menu.
I'm in top plan, so. Okay.
Yeah, over on your navigation palette. Yep. So your classes are show, snap, modify others, and your dimension class. Okay, great. Can you go to your document preferences? Go to I can't see your menus for some reason.
Okay. That's okay.
So go to your document preferences, document settings, document preferences.
I have it set to my standard.
So,
I tried using one of the others and it didn't work out.
Yeah, hold on. Create dimension in dimension class. Okay. Interesting. Super cool. Okay. Hit cancel. And let's see. And we are in top plan view. Yep. Command 5. It looks like we are. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And go to your navigation. Let's go to layers.
Oh,
that's a lot of layers.
Yeah, like I said, it's a bad sketch. This is one that I
okay.
wanted.
Yeah. Hold on. Don't do anything. Go instead of layers. Instead of show, snap, modify others. Just go to active only.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try to dimension something.
Disappears again.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I tried it with other dimension standards, thinking, oh, maybe my dimension standard didn't port over to 2021, and it works in the old ones. These are all my dimensions, the WHV Arch, but the old ones came through, but I can't make new ones.
It's not a scaling thing because you're doing it in the design layer?
Nope.
I don't think so. I've done it in design layers. I've done it in annotation layers, and both of them don't work. So
I feel like I've seen them disappear like that, and then they're just really tiny somewhere.
Let's do this, Bill. Let's do this. Go to your tool menu, custom selection, select only, execute criteria.
Dimensions.
Type is dimensions. Ooh, this is like an episode of Stump the Chumps.
Why are there two of those?
One is string dimensions and the other is not. So pick the first one. Okay, and go to more choices.
Add another one. Okay.
type is dimensions, but pick the second one this time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, there you go. Hit OK. And now I want you to hit Command 6.
So there it is. All those dimensions are selected.
Yep, but there's some in the bottom left here and to the left.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got dimensions all over the place on this drawing.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. I'm just wondering if those dimensions are there.
Yeah.
Wow, this is cool.
Glad you like it. I'll try dimensioning something here. See what happens there. Of course, it's constrained, so I've tried chain dimensions unconstrained. It doesn't seem to matter.
And try a different dimension. Try. Can we go to your Let's go back to your document settings.
I tried that. Let's see what happens. I'll do it again.
Let's go to I want to. Can we edit under? Click on custom.
Oh, do that. Okay.
If you quit and restart.
Francois,
and
I was just going to say, if you quit and restart, this may be a case where you just have some gremlins.
Edit.
But it's been happening. I haven't needed to dimension anything in a little while. I've restarted. I've rebooted my computer for other reasons too. So this isn't just this particular iteration of architecture. So
And you're
No.
on the latest service
hang on.
pack.
Thank you.
yep.
Latest service pack and everything, right?
Yep. Click on edit.
Let's see what we got here.
You guys can see how primitive my diagnostic tools are.
So it all looks like what I had it in. Patient above single.
I'm not seeing anything weird.
Cancel.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
Like I said, I tried it with, let's just for the hell of it, go to this one. Say, well, I thought maybe it didn't import. Yep. All right. Well, I can keep going around the internet and see if I can find some more. It came up as other people's problems, but it had nothing to do with what I was dealing with and of a solution.
Bill, can you go to the settings for the dimension there? Yep.
That's normal. Doesn't.
Okay. Wow, that's cool.
Glad you think so. Anyway, I don't want to take up all your time on that. It was a curiosity, and if I get it figured out, I'll let you know. I fixed it once before. It just happened several years ago, and I did something, or I figured it got fixed, and then it became a problem again. I don't remember what the solution was, obviously.
Hey, can you do this? Create a new. Don't close that file. Create a new file.
Good idea. That's good.
Yep.
That I have not tried. Just blank. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's wild.
Isn't it though? Oh, are you dropping the same acid that I did?
Yeah.
Kicked in at the same time. Okay. It looks like my computer is not helping here.
Wow, that's wild. Okay.
I'm gonna have to sign off and cut out.
Well, just try stop sharing and see if it still does that.
I can't even get to my, oh wait, maybe I can't. Nope. I don't think I can get to my menu bar to get to Zoom. I'm gonna have to reboot.
Francisco, can you make him stop sharing?
I can't.
Francisco,
What if I turn off my computer? Will that make me stop sharing?
Francisco should be able to stop you.
I think I'll just turn it off.
Yeah.
I don't have,
That's all right. All right, is it still doing it, Bill?
yep, I can't get to anything. It's completely crashing my computer.
Okay. Yeah, and you're kind of flickering in and out too, which is also cool. Well, before you go, if you would like to share that file with me, I would love to have a look at it. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. And but I would try just with try with a new file and see if it's doing it. It could just be there's a corruption in that file.
It's not a bad idea. All right, I'll do that and let you know.
Okay.
You can turn off my computer in the meantime still. It's obviously screwed up.
Well, I thought this would be like a 20-minute meeting, and here we are. It's 1:30, and thanks for all the good questions and stumping the chump. And does anybody have any last-minute comments or quick questions before we go our separate way?
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Good to hear and see y'all.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Good to see you. Al, I will email you this this little detail marker.
That would be great. Thank you very much for
All
all
right.
of that.
Good luck with your dimensioning, Bill. I'm dying to know what happens. Let me know. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Yep.